There we go. Okay, so first of all, some Australian facts. These are some people going to their local shopping centre. We have some really strong over-the-counter drugs. Like, they're amazingly strong. I once gave an over-the-counter drug to an American, and I woke up. We were sharing a hotel room, and I woke up, and he was laying across the bathroom floor. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, what are you doing? So weird. So yeah, we have some really big spiders. They're not 5 meter tall. They're like only about the size of your hand, so that's fine. They're not actually the most poisonous creature in Australia, though. These little guys are, the box jellyfish. They're like this big, maybe an inch big. These guys will really screw up your life. We have a prime minister, and he's not very well liked, so some people created a Chrome extension called Stop Tony Meow. That guy's name is Tony, so the Chrome extension is called Stop Tony Meow, and it replaces pictures of Tony Abbott with pictures of kittens. It's wonderful. I love it. So I'll talk about adjustments within Spree. Who here has ever battled with Spree? I don't think there's going to be anyone who's... 1, 2, whoa, there's like a whole handful of you people. That's awesome. So Sean came down from the mountain, and in the book of Spree, it's written, then Sean turned and went down from the mountain with 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand. Tablets which were written on both sides, and they were written on one side and the other. Yes, the book of Spree is quite verbose. On these tablets, there were all these commandments written, so let's run through them right now. There's a whole list. Look, like that's crazy. Who wants to read all that? No one does. So the first of all was retain order-wide adjustments. Within Spree, we had the concept of you should be able to get a discount in your order if you screw it up. So we screwed it up, have $20. You should also be able to have discounts. So like use this coupon code to get 10% off. And also credit. So again, $20 off if you so please. We should also have discounts for specific customers. If you have an educational customer, it's 15% off, 5% off for members. Shipping taxation. If you're shipping some places, if you're shipping from place A to place B, some places require you to tax shipping, other places do not. We should be able to refund specific items easily. So in Australia, we have this wonderful tax called the GST. It is literally the best tax in the world. Believe me, I have done my research. It's 10%, so it's either on or it's off. That's it. That's the complexity of it all. The difficulty, though, in Spree is that the tax adjustment is applied to the entire order. So you have a $3.63 tax adjustment for this entire order, which makes calculating this item's tax very difficult because you don't know exactly how much tax that item is going to incur. So in our adjustments refactoring, we need to work out how to do that properly. We need to freeze order adjustments. If a price changes after the order is completed, that order total shouldn't change, right? It should just be frozen. We need to be able to refund the value-added tax outside of the EU. So if you're an EU country, anyone here from the EU? Yes, awesome, good. You are well aware then if you're shipping it from from the EU to a country outside of the EU, you need to refund the value-added tax of your country. You need to allow multiple discounts per order. So a lot of people were asking, can we have a free shipping promotion and a 10% off promotion? And we would always write back, no, you cannot. But we would do it really nicely. It's like, yes, thank you for asking, but no, you can't. Goodbye. We need to have a robust test suite, and we already have one of these in Spree. It has about 1,500 examples, I think, at least 1,500 examples. So we've already got that. I don't know why Sean included that in his commandments, but there you go. We needed to scrap events and notifications. We were using the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful active support notification class. And we were using it really poorly. So these needed to go. What we were doing is we were calling this method called fire event. So when a product was added to the cart in the checkout controller, we would call this method. And what this method would do is it will find all the instances of the Spree activator class that match Spree cart add, and then it will try and activate them one at a time. This sounds okay so far, but imagine that you have 500 activator instances that all have Spree cart add. You can then know where it starts to pile up. I'll skip past that because it's not interesting to you, the 4270 number. So we're getting rid of events and notifications because it's super confusing. Next, we have some ground rules. So first of all, we had the 9 commandments offered by Sean, and now we have a lettered list, and next we'll have a Roman numeral list. So the first ground rule is to avoid excessive calculations. Of course, when you're writing code, you kind of want it to be performing as quick as it can, and that's exactly what ground rule A means. Ground rule 2 is that we avoid multiple adjustments per line item. Now, it sounds like a good idea in theory, but later on I'll come around to explain why it's not, and to not overly complicate things. But Spree is already pretty complicated. It's 86,000 lines of code in just its 5 components. Then we have all the extensions as well, like hundreds of thousands of lines total. So to say that we're not going to overly complicate things, well, I don't like that. So let's just stay with the top 2 rules. That's it. Speaking of overly complex situations, or code bases, we have Magento. Magento has 484 commits, so they're kind of bunching a whole bunch of stuff into a lot of commits, and 8,194,127 lines of code. I'm not sure if you've ever worked on a code base this big. Has anyone ever worked on a code base this big? Okay. Impressive. A Magento. And it's made up of these wonderful languages, PHP, XML, and JavaScript, which I know you all like. In fact, 17% of Magento is XML. 17%, almost 1/5 of their code base is XML. I love XML. I could talk about XML all day, but I'm not. I'm going to talk about something way more interesting than that. I'm going to be talking about sales tax. This is the point where you all go into your lunch siesta mode. And sales tax is really complicated. It's like super complicated. Can anyone tell me what the New York sales tax is for these 2 items? They both cost almost $20 each. New York sales tax. 84%. Depends on where it's being shipped was another answer. Sorry? They're not both food, they're both clothing items. I'll put you out of your misery and say that clothing and footwear under $110 are exempt from the New York City and New York State sales tax. So New York doesn't have one tax. Thank you so much, good sir. Except that's not for me, I don't drink beer. Cider would be awesome. Thank you. So purchases above $110 are subject to a 4.5% New York sales tax, New York City sales tax, and then a 4% New York State sales tax. So you get these 2 tax rates combined. It's really interesting. But for these 2 items, there's no sales tax because they're both under $110. So as I was saying before, in Australia, we have this wonderful tax called the Goods and Services Tax, literally, as I said before, the best tax ever, and I have done my research. So on these 2 items costing $20 each, you would have a $3.63 included tax. And that's it. That's simple. It's so simple. Either it's there or it's not. I'm not going to run through which items it's there on and which items it's not, because that will take literally all this conference and then some more. So let's move on to the EU. The EU is slightly more complex than Australia in that France, for example, has a 20% VAT, but then on items like newspapers, it has a 2% VAT, and I think on hotels it's like 6% or 8% or something. Germany has different rules than that. So France has its own rules of a reduced VAT rate and a proper VAT rate, and Germany has its own set of rules as well. So you have Australia, which is this super complex system, either it's applied or it's not. Then you have France and Germany and all the other EU countries that are slightly more complex with their different VAT rates. And then you have my favorite country in the world, the US of A. America! Freedom! Where's the eagle? Somewhere. Trucks and yeah, everything. So in the US of A, you guys kind of have this weird kind of tax system. Like, I just don't understand what's up. So here's a map of all the sales tax in the US of A as of January 1st, 2012. And by the way, this changes like every day. Oregon is one of the really cool states because they don't have a sales tax. Alaska, get it right. Alaska is also cool because they mostly don't have a sales tax. Everywhere else sucks. So Oregon's really cool. I like Oregon. Here, I clicked around a map of DC, and you can see that there's like 3 different tax rates at least. There's 5.3 in the middle of Washington. There's 5.75 and 6% on the outskirts. And then this like map of Denver showing the different colors indicate the different tax rates. So it's kind of crazy. Anywhere in the United States, you can be charged anywhere between 0% sales tax to like 11.725%. And it calculates out to be an extra $4.68 just on sales tax. And then you have to remember that if you have a nexus in a state, like if you're selling products from a state, as I was just talking to a friend of mine, he said that he's based in Oregon, but then he was in Washington, and because they're selling products out of Washington, they have to pay the Washington sales tax. It's crazy. And you guys call yourself the United States. You can't agree on taxes. Taxes are a thing that have been around for thousands of years. The Romans have written annuals about collecting taxes, and you guys still can't come to terms with such a simple system, really. So there's these two companies that really deal with tax really well. There's Tax Cloud, that's the map that I clicked around DC on, and there's Avatax. Avatax tracks the 11,000 different tax rates in the United States, and they update them whenever they change, which is super, super awesome. So that's enough about sales tax, now that you're all asleep. No. So let's talk about the old adjustments within Spree. It's fairly interesting as well. In the old adjustment system, we had these four, the adjustments had these four attributes associated with them. So you had the source, which is like the thing that's supposed to be doing the adjustment. And the originator might be the same as the source, but it could also be the thing that's being adjusted. The adjustable is, of course, the thing being adjusted because, duh, that makes sense. And the amount is self-explanatory. I don't really, right? So on a tax adjustment, you have the source being the order, because why not? The originator being the tax rate, and the adjustable also being the order. So the order is the thing being adjusted. And what we would do is that we'd call that to the tax rate model, and the tax rate model would adjust this. The way this works is inside of Spree is that we have a tax category for an item and a zone, so you match the tax category and the zone together, and then you can get a rate out of that. So for example, in Australia, we have the clothing tax category, and then in Australia is the zone, and then you can work out that it's a 10% sales tax to be applied to that item. Food in New York is 8.875%, and trying to do the mental math on that is exceptionally difficult. Spree's tax system was also complex in itself. So if you try and do purchases in the same country as the store, say in Australia, and it's a price-inclusive tax, then you need to apply an adjustment to every single line item. So say in Spree, earlier versions of Spree, you would have a $1.82 tax for this item, and the same tax for this item. Then the total is going to be $3.64 applied to, to each line item, one at a time. But if the tax was being refunded, like shipping from the EU to Australia, we would apply one big whole negative adjustment to the order. And this isn't consistent, because in one case, we're applying the adjustments to the line items, and the other case, we're applying the adjustments to the order. So here you would have a $1.82 refund as well, and then you would also have another $1.82 refund for one whole big order adjustment for $3.64, and it lends itself to being really confusing. And then you have America. And purchases in the country where you have a price-exclusive tax, like you have America, a product is $2 on the shelf and you have an 8% sales tax, it's what, a 16-cent tax on top of that, off the top of my head? Then we apply one big adjustment again, so it's really inconsistent. So I don't think that's the right number for New York, by the way, don't quote me on it, I'm not a lawyer. So in New York, you'd have a $1.39 sales tax and a $1.39 tax as well, for a total of $2.78. And so it's really inconsistent, and this is really a big problem, because you have these ones that aren't the same, that are applying the adjustments to the order rather than each line item within that order. And so calculating how much tax a line item owes, if you're going to refund that, it's really difficult. So in the new adjustment system, we decided to make that all the same. So if you're going from the United States or if you're in Australia, we apply a positive adjustment to the line item, and then if you're doing a refund, then it's a negative adjustment. It's quite simple. And it makes refunding so much easier, because then you can work out how much tax did this item incur. Well, it's on the line item. You can say that this line item has incurred $1.82 tax, and if there's 3 of those line items and they incur, what, a $4 tax each, you just do 4 divided 3, and you can work out per item how much tax that includes. So we have these methods like tax total, and tax total, right, on the line item, the shipment, and the order, and you can work out the different levels of tax for that order, and then not get audited by the IRS or your local government tax authority. And then we have this complex situation where you have included and additional taxes. So I touched on this quite briefly, but in Australia we have included taxes. So an item on the shelf is $10, you go to the register, it says $10 on the register. In the US, you buy an item that's $10, you go to the register and it's going to say something different, depending on where you are. So what we have instead of that is that we have included tax total, and then we have an additional tax total. And that way we can work out the different tax totals for the items, as we so see. So in the new system, what we have is that the first line item here has a tax adjustment for $3.63, and the next one has it for $1.82. In the US, it's one adjustment per line item for $1.39. It's quite easy. So we have a new field on the adjustments called included, and that determines whether or not that adjustment should count towards the final total of that item that's being adjusted. And 2.2, we ended up getting rid of originator because originator and source, really, in my mind, they're mapped to the same thing. The source is where something originates from, and the originating thing is the source of the thing. So we got rid of originator because it was really confusing. So shipment adjustments. Shipment adjustments where we had different, where we had adjustments being applied to the shipment. So when a shipment was selected, you would get a list of shipping methods which to apply to that shipment. So you want a UPS ground shipping, it's $5, or if you want express shipping, it's $15, and if you want super express shipping, it's $30. And we would apply an adjustment to the shipment, but then it's really only just a number. And so we would apply the cost of the shipment as an adjustment to the shipment. And that's really dumb. So what we're doing instead is that we're just setting an attribute on the shipment model. I have no idea why we didn't do this earlier, but really that's as simple as it's going to get. Shipment taxation is a whole other thing. So we have shipping methods in Spree. So you have a shipment that has shipping methods, and that's the way that it can get to you. That's the UPS ground or the express or the super express. And those each have their own individual tax category. And then where you're shipping to is the zone. And then using the tax category and the zone, you can work out the rate that it should be taxed at. So in Spree 2.2, we're taxing line items and shipments now. And earlier where we had in 2.1, we were taxing shipments, we were applying an adjustment to the shipment model based on its cost. We're actually now, the only adjustment on the shipment is a tax rate. There's also promotions later on. So yeah, the tax adjustment now says that the source is a tax rate, and you're applying it to either a line item or a shipment. It's simple. Promotions are a whole other bag of laughs. I love the complex promotion rules that people have. It's like, if it's a Tuesday and it's a full moon and I'm wearing a red shirt today and the customer name begins with P and they're buying 3 items, but the 3 items grand total is like an odd number, and then they're left-handed, then they should get like a 10% discount. It's like, that's how complex it is sometimes. So we had order promotions. And so you had the source being the order, the originator being the promotion action, so that's the thing doing the adjusting, the adjustable being the order. So you'd have a 10% off promotion, say, and these items would each get a $2 off promotion, but you get the issue where it's a -4 adjustment for the entire order. And again, working out what promotion applies to this specific item when you're refunding it is difficult. 10% off, though, in Spree 2.2 works out that it's a 1 adjustment per line item. So for the first line item, you're going to have a negative adjustment of $2, and the second line item, you're going to have a -2 adjustment as well. Makes it so much easier. So more about promotions. We have this concept called promotion handlers. So an order calls out to a promotion handler now. And what this does is if you select a coupon code, you can say that we find all the, the cart, cart comes first, putting the horse before the cart. Terrible pun. Don't you love it? All right, so finding all the non-code path promotions, you check to see if they're eligible for that line item in the order, and then you activate them. So if you have a promotion that applies only in specific cart circumstances, this is the promotion handler for you. If you're using a coupon code, you want to find all the promotions that are matching that coupon code. You validate whether they're being used enough times, and if they're eligible, then you attempt the application of the promotion to the order, and the application might fail because it might already have a promotion already applied. So if you have free shipping, and then you try and apply a coupon code that's like 10% off shipping, the free shipping one is going to win. So we only attempt, and then we report on the success of the application of the coupon code, because it might not apply. Then we have a free shipping promotion, like I just said. You find all the free shipping promotion actions, you check the eligibility for that promotion on that order, and you activate them. Same for the page. You find a promotion for a specific path, so if a person goes to a specific path, check the eligibility for the order, and activate. Then you've got to pick a winner out of all these different promotions that are applied. So if you have a line item, and you have a 10% off promotion, and a $10 off promotion, and the line item is $10, then that promotion on the right is going to win out, because it's going to give a $10 discount. The other one's only going to give a $1 discount. But then if the line item is going to cost you $150, the one on the left is going to win, because it's $15 versus $10. So that gives a better promotion discount. And Spree deals with this already. 4270 you don't care about. 4270 is complex promotion rules. Why don't you care? You're starting to care. Okay, let me dig into this. I think I got a bit of time. So if you have a promotion that applies a 10% off discount to each of the line items and applies a free shipping adjustment, And then you have another promotion that only applies putting me on the spot really, a 5% discount and then also free shipping. The total of one of the promotions is going to be higher. So the total adjustments applied by one promotion is going to be higher than that of another promotion. How we're doing it currently in Spree is that we get the best promotion for the item, for the line item or the shipment or the order, and then pick out the best adjustment that will give the best result for the customer. This issue discusses that you should be instead picking out the best promotion. So if a person applies a promotion and total it gives them a $15 discount and the other one only gives them a $10, then the adjustments from the first promotion should win out against the other one. Make sense? Good-o. So in summary, can you combine a free shipping promotion and a 10% off promotion in Spree 2.2? Yes, you absolutely can. You can do that now. So please stop asking. Because you can. Can you do order-wide adjustments? Yes, you have always been able to do order-wide adjustments. Please continue doing order-wide adjustments. Can you do discounts and credits? Yes, you can do discounts. No, you can't do credits yet. He gives and then takes us away. Can you do group discounts? No, you can't. They're coming soon. We're talking about it. It's very difficult to do. Shipping taxation, yes. Yes, so you're not going to get audited by the IRS anymore because your shipments aren't taxed and you're $2,000 short in your tax payment for the year. Being audited is no fun, I hear. Refunding of items, we're working on that too. Adjustment freezing, well, it's always been that way. Once an adjustment is done, once the order is done for that, once the order is locked, that's it. It'll never change again. VAT refunding, yes, we do that. And now we apply a negative adjustment to each line item rather than one adjustment to the entire order. Multiple discounts per order, though. What we can have is that one promotion adjustment wins out, one credit adjustment wins out, and one taxation adjustment. That's it. We have a robust test suite. We have, of course, we avoid excessive calculations because we rip the whole thing apart and put it back together again. We've got like 1,000 missing pieces. Good missing pieces, I mean. Avoid multiple adjustments per line item. Well, we can't really do that anymore because we've got these multiple adjustments. So you can have a line item that costs you $15, and then you have a promotion adjustment that reduces the price of that item by $5, so then it's $10. That's actually in the wrong order, my bad. No, sorry, that is in the right order. I'm getting it wrong in my head. So $15 line item reduced by $5 by the promotion. You have a credit, which then reduces it, say, by another $2. So then the item is then $8, and then you tax that item. So if you have an $8 item, tax at 10%, it's an 80-cent tax. So the item really costs $8.80 rather than $15 and whatever else. Line item adjustments, yeah, we've got one of those. So we've got a promotion adjustment, a credit adjustment, and tax adjustment, just as I said before. Commandment number 2 was some form of inheritance. I'm not sure if I got to these in the slides earlier. Sean asked that the new adjustment system have some form of inheritance. And if you've ever worked on a code base with inheritance between classes like single table inheritance, sorry, that's a swear word here, I think. It's terrible. So in Spree, we're trying to avoid that inheritance-free zone, totally. Take advantage of the existing calculators and rules? Yeah, we're doing it. Events using active support notifications? Gone. Notifications? Gone. And now we have an adjustment system which is simple, it's consistent, and it's flexible. I'm Steve Klabnik, and you've been wonderful. Any questions? Questions? Yes. Here, let me bring up the big slide. There you go, you can enjoy it a lot more. That took me all of about 5 minutes this morning. But I am legitimately Steve Klabnik. Look, I've got his badge. My badge. Shit. How's he standing? Like, yeah. Cool, thank you. No more questions? What? The Wallabies. It's okay. Thank you, everyone. Yeah?
Oh, I'll have that.
You'll have it?
Yeah. All right, thanks, Ryan. That presentation was very interesting, but I found it sort of taxing.